Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is January 13th, 2021, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, oil rallies to new yearly highs, and we mentioned this yesterday as it got very comfortable on its highs and looked to break out. Now, there's no economic events scheduled for today, so jumping straight into the markets. In terms of Forex symbols, we're watching the dollar actually weaken versus the major pairs as the drama unfolds in the United States Congress going ahead with impeachment, even possibly after Trump is out of office. Ironically, okay, that could still happen. He could still get impeached when he's out of office. Okay, so Bizarro is continuing. Now, looking at the indices, the Dow Jones pretty much unchanged while the Nasdaq remains weak. As there's some rumors that big tech is going to get broken up, we're going to have to see how that unfolds. Looking at commodities, gold pretty much unchanged, while oil, as we mentioned, are in new highs. Now, in terms of the stocks, nothing has changed. Bank stocks are still strong and tech stocks are still weak, really not bouncing. Lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin continues its roller coaster ride, selling back off to 31,000 yesterday and then bouncing off of it earlier today. But we will watch that as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So a little bit of action this morning looking at the USD at a 30-minute chart. We had this nice real breakout at 121.77-ish level, rally to 122.17. A nice 40 pip move, and now we're almost back to that level. So this will be anticipated support right here, okay? As long as it could sustain it, we could still see it maybe break higher. Now, this is really on the unfolding events in the United States as we're looking at the GBP USD still on its highs. If we see here, didn't really retrace. We're looking at a 1-hour chart and still really hugging this area for a possible breakout move. Now, Brexit is still happening, okay? Still ironing out exactly how that's going to actually happen, but that is still unfolding. Now, jumping in commodities, gold, not doing much here, selling off at 1850 and not sustaining this level, which lends itself to possibly, are we going to retrace further? I'm not sure, because there are some inflationary issues like in the background of everything. So that's something that we'll need to see. Okay, but for right now, we're trading really in a tight range. Okay, for all intents and purposes, you know, we're at that 1850-ish level, and that's a nice round up number, and we are hesitant to break below it. But again, we did have a decent resistance-ish level at that 1860 as well. So if you're playing the trends, okay, I would keep my hands off of this for now. Okay, but you could play the range on it. If it does dip below 1840, 1850, I would look to actually buy it. Now, looking at oil. Oil retracing this morning from 53.75 down to 53.43. A little bit of a retracement, but altogether, oil is breaking out higher. In the anticipation that possibly by March we could see some more air travel, perhaps, okay? Maybe that's the catalyst of what's pushing oil higher. Oil production was reduced last week as OPEC did meet, but nevertheless, the prices are being sustained for now. This is the highest level we've been since the outbreak of the pandemic. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones, we're trading in a really tight range, okay? Between 31,100-ish level and 30,976-ish level, okay? Every time it hits that area, it just bounces off of it. And every time it hits higher, it doesn't break higher, but it's been in this range for quite some time. So as this is unfolding, this is something to consider. However, looking at Nasdaq represents the high-tech stocks, really not bouncing here, okay? A very ominous look when we look at this. Now, looking at the individual stocks, JP Morgan breaking 140, new highs for the year. Now, looking back to our pre-pandemic levels, we're right there. We've made a complete V formation. Took us a year, but we're back to our highs after a massive roller coaster of a ride for a year, okay? So interestingly enough, looking at this, there is significant resistance-ish level at this 140-ish level, so just be aware that there may be some money being taken off the table at these areas. Now, Facebook is dead on its 249 lows, okay? After breaking lower, okay, after some of the I guess you could call it the rumors that big tech is going to get broken up, but that's still, we have to see how that actually unfolds. Looking at Apple, did gain a little bit yesterday and jumping off of that 125 low. And lastly, looking at Amazon, also just a little bit down at 31. But all intents and purposes, these things are really just consolidating in this area. Now, lastly, looking at our Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin had a roller coaster of a week. Last week, okay, look at this, all right? I'm going to draw this like a roller coaster, right? This is the big way up, and then your roller coaster ride, okay? Then we have the 50% bounce, which is right here, which is a decent level for it to bounce off of, okay, because that's a 50% bounce. And then back to testing our lows at 32,000 and then bouncing off of it. But if you look at this, this is what's beautiful about this. Okay, you ready? Technical trading is really applied here. We had a previous support here at this 36,600-ish level, and sure enough, that was our resistance, and we couldn't break above it. Now, it also happens to be the 50% midpoint between our breakout and our high. Okay, so this was really an opportune time to actually play that off the bottom. Now, again, we sold off and then a 50% bounce as well. So considering this, we're really just flirting with this 34,800-ish level, but this may be a pivot point, and this may find itself actually trading within a range until there's some sort of catalyst to push it higher. So with all intents and purposes, okay, right now we're at the top of the range, okay? It is a minor resistance-ish level right here at 34,800-ish level. So maybe to, short a little bit, okay, not to get too aggressive around this area, but this potentially could be a reversal area. So take a look at this later today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trade.